I'd like to welcome Sally Cancello, the writer, director, actor and co-producer of Fargate.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I wondered if we could start by you just giving us kind of a brief description of what Fargate is.
Yeah, so Fargate is about a character called Kelsey who seems from the outside that she's struggling, her family are concerned about her, and really she's handling, even though she's got obstacles, she's handling them, whereas her family are concerned about her, but they've really got more problems than she does, you know. And for everybody, it's everybody really relating to their own crazy family, you know.
Okay, so it's a crazy family thing, but let's make this very clear. This is a comedy.
Yes, it's a comedy, yeah.
It's an absolute comedy.
Yeah.
And could I use the term quintessential British humour?
Yes, yeah.
If there's such a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess when you write, you just write about what you know, and for me, I suppose it's inspired by the comedy that I grew up with, which actually is quite varied, from Harold Lloyd. I used to love Harold Lloyd, Charlie Chaplin, but I used to watch a lot of sketch shows, and I particularly love northern comics as well, like Peter Kay, Phoenix Nights. I very much relate to that, so I guess you just write about what you know, and it turns out how it turns out, you know.
So that's the best thing to write, isn't it?
Yes, yeah,
From a place of knowledge.
Yeah.
So, Fargate, why is it called Fargate?
It's called Fargate because where, spoiler alert, where the event actually takes place is called Fargate. It's actually the main high street in Sheffield. It wasn't always called Fargate. It had another name before, which was running in the family, and I always kind of knew that was a working title until we found one that we were happy with. And it's funny, Fargo, I mean, Fargo is very different, but Fargate, given that it was the main high street and it had a bit of a twist to where it was going to go, it seemed right. So, yeah.
So is it coincidental or was it intentional that you have some really super older female roles in this story? Was that intentional or...?
Again, I am a massive stand for females in front of the camera, behind the camera, and I am also a massive stand for older females as well, just because there's something very much within, or there has been something within in the industry where once you get to a certain age, in front of or behind the camera, you know, it's almost like, you know, that's your number. So definitely I'm very inspired to be a stand for that and to champion that. But again, I think it probably just comes from something, I didn't intentionally mean to write it that way. I will always have female leads in whatever I write because I'm very passionate about that, and there will always be older female leads, but that was just the way that worked out.
Yeah, and they're fantastic.
Absolutely
they're
unbelievable.
Yes, fantastic credit to everybody.
Yeah,
the actors,
yeah,
but obviously the conceiving of the actors and their dialogue is super.
Absolutely. I've just watched the film now again here, and I had a little tear in my eye because I haven't seen it live since a year ago, since we premiered, and they just did such a great job. I'm just so proud of all of them and all of the crew, and
yourself as well.
Yes, and myself, but you know, watching them, I'm thinking about.
Can we talk about that very briefly? Director and actor, how does that work practically?
That's very interesting because previous to this film, the sketches that I did, I trained in acting and theatre directing, so I primarily went to drama school originally just to do acting, and then started doing theatre directing, and everything I'd done before this, I had acted in and directed, and I was always very aware when I would come to sit in the edit and do the edit with whoever I was editing it with, that when you're acting, sometimes you are missing an outside view on things. I always try and see takes in between as much as possible, but sometimes comes a time when you're filming where you have to move on, you know, that you may not have time to see certain things, and you definitely have a sense. I remember the final shot walking up the street, I was thinking about acting, I was thinking about somebody arriving, I was thinking about where we all were, our positionings, what was going to happen. I remember there was about 7 things in my mind, but before we'd filmed this, I sat in a round table at the Sheffield showroom cinema, something that was arranged by the BFI with Jim Cummings, who had done Thunder Road, and I thought, wow, he's acting in all of that and he's directing. I'm going to ask him a question about that, and my question was, what did you set in place to support you? And he basically said that he had a friend who was a director, who was a creative director, just as an outside input for him. And I took that on board, and my cousin, who's also a director, she was the creative director in the film, and I was very much talking to her. My youngest sister, I'm the second of 6 kids, my youngest sister was actually, at the time, she was working as second AD on 1917, and she said, you're not going to believe this, but we've got a few days off, I'm going to come down and, you know, get involved, and she was very helpful as an eye outside, and then she ended up first ADing quite a bit of it as well. So yeah, and I think it's somebody that you work with, somebody that you trust, you know, who has the same vision as you. That was something which was very helpful.
No, that's really enlightening, because I was thinking, oh, you'd have to do multiple takes and just keep going back and quickly watching it on the monitor. Was that one any good? Was that? That's a great answer. Yeah,
yeah.
That's a perfect way to do it.
Because for some of the sketches that I'd done before, there was time for that, but I was, you know, coming to this, there was too many people, too little time. We were always, you know, the shots we were trying to get in within the time. There wasn't time yet.
No, thank you. So, any challenges on set? Or?
Yes, many challenges. So, I think the main challenge we had was time, because we had a lot to shoot in a small amount of time, and we had, you know, 6 or 7 locations. We had a low loader truck. I'd never worked with a low loader truck before. I'd done car scenes before. We had to make something that wasn't a bank look like a bank, so that was really down to our props person, who did an unbelievable job with that. He would go into my garage and then come out with something that looked like a gun. He'd go in with a bit of material and come out with something that looked like a gun, and he was unbelievable. So it was, yeah, there was plenty of challenges. It was just working around it, and time-wise, it was just literally myself and the DOP, Robert Beck. We knew what we wanted to get, and we were going for that, which was ambitious, and yeah, and then just seeing if we had the time to get it. You know, we had to change some things, which interestingly, one of the things we changed was the van being parked up and the robber getting out there. It was supposed to happen in the background while they were talking, and that actually turned out better, you know, so yeah. Great.
I could be wrong here, but it feels to me like there's a wonderful feature that could come out of this show. That's got to have crossed your mind.
I absolutely loved doing this film, and I love the characters, and wherever we've shown, everybody was always asked this question, and they've said, you know, a TV series or a feature or something to do with these characters. I've got early development funding for a feature film with the BFI, so that's actually something different, and I've just finished the treatment, so I'm kind of onto the script stage of that. But definitely I will be coming back to these characters. I'm not sure what that will be, but it was like, you know, they were very real, and it was like a real family, and everything fitted into place with the actors that we got, Gillian War and Rita May. So the mum and the grandma, a really fascinating thing was that they were both from Sheffield, and our casting director Nikki Topping, she'd got people, and we talked about getting people as authentic as possible, you know, northern and as close to where we were shooting as possible. But it turned out when they were cast, I was speaking to Rita on the phone, and she said, Gillian, she said, we're like best friends. So they had immediate chemistry, And then Michael Forrest, it was almost like he was a brother from another mother when they all got together. And Sarah, it was like people didn't want to leave Sarah. We all got on so well, you know.
Well,
so yeah.
We all enjoyed it so much, and I'm sure
Thank
everybody who's going to see it is going to enjoy it. We hope something more comes from this, but whatever you do, we wish you every success.
Thank you very much.
And really hope you submit to Romford International Film Festival again.
I absolutely will be. Yes.
Thank you so much, Sally. Thank you.
Thank you.